Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and if you are new here, I'm an apartment broker. I own an apartment locating company that serves all of Texas. I also started a apartment locating training community where we have agents all over the country that come to our training community to learn about this special niche in the real estate world, which is apartment locating. So today I want to continue on the theme of why a lot of agents fail in the apartment locating world or really just in the real estate world. Our last video, we covered some simple mindset shifts that you can really dive into if you're wanting to be successful in apartment locating. But today I want to dive into a even more simple misstep that a lot of people find themselves in when it comes to apartment locating and what you can do as an agent to make sure that you don't fall in this category of agents that fail in this niche for really a very silly reason. So apartment locating, I think for a lot of people, why a lot of agents fail or don't even touch this side of the real estate world is because it is kind of a foreign concept to them. Now, if you've gone through, or which you have if you're here, if you've gone through your real estate training, you went to real estate school, you probably know that there's not a lot of conversation about apartment locating. Now, if you've been living in fantasy world about real estate and you watch a lot of reality TV shows, again, there's not a lot of conversation about apartment locating. There's all these conversations in real estate school and also on TV or in movies about standard real estate agents, realtors who sell homes or sell condos. That's all we really hear about when it comes to real estate, but we don't really hear that much about the apartment locating side of things. So if you are not from the multifamily industry, which is like the apartment industry, if you're not from that side of things, or if you don't know somebody who knows somebody who does apartment locating, you probably are not even kind of familiar with it. And this can be really mind-boggling for people. So a lot of people, because they go into getting their real estate license with this concept that they are going to help people buy and sell homes, they don't really understand what it means to be an apartment locator, and it just completely overwhelms them and deters them for wanting to even peek inside that box of the industry. And what a lot of people don't realize is that apartment locating is actually probably the most simple thing that you could do as a career. You are really just helping people find new apartments for them to move into based off of your word of mouth, based off of your research. It does not require you to be knowledgeable about every single city or every single area or even every single building that you refer clients to. Ultimately, if you think about it, at one point or another, you probably have had to go find a new home, whether it be an apartment or whether it be a home. And what do you do whenever you go look for apartments or homes? You research the area that you're interested in, you understand what your budget is, you understand when you're needing to move in. And then you find a place that kind of matches that. And so I see a lot of times when people are new agents or they're not familiar with apartment locating, they overcomplicate in their head what apartment locating is. They think that they need to have a ton of training. They think that they need to be super familiar with every single thing about the apartment industry. And although I do believe and I really am a big advocate for knowledge and education and training, which is why I have so much training within our brokerage and also our training community. On the flip side, I also think that a lot of times agents overcomplicate things. They don't understand that if you yourself was looking for an apartment, what would you do? You would figure out what your budget is, what area you want to move to, and when you're moving, when you need to move in. Those are the things that you would consider. And so as an agent, I see a lot of times agents fail in the apartment locating side of things because they don't have any references on TV. Maybe their real estate courses that they took in order to get their license didn't really talk about apartment locating. So they overcomplicate it in their head. But ultimately, if you know nothing about the apartment locating world, hopefully this one tip helps you out. Just treat every single client as if it were you looking for an apartment. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need to move in by February 2nd, my budget is $1,200 and I want to move to Frisco, Texas. Cool. Awesome. If I know nothing about apartment locating, if I know nothing about Frisco, Texas, the first thing I'm probably going to do is get on Google. I'm going to look up apartments in Frisco. I'm going to go to properties websites. I'm going to see what their price points are. And I'm going to see from their website when those apartments are going to be available, because everything is technically online. Yes, there are apartment locating softwares that a lot of apartment locators use to find apartments for their clients. Yes, there's a lot of things that you could know about the application process, or that you could know about different types of buildings, or that you could know about how to follow up strategically. Yes, there's so many things that you could know about the apartment locating side of things, but ultimately a lot of agents fail in apartment locating because they don't comprehend that you are literally just helping somebody find an apartment. Whether if you are a parent and maybe you had to help your child look for an apartment when they went to college, or maybe you are just a really helpful best friend or a really helpful partner. Maybe you've helped somebody look for apartments before in the past. That's basically what you're doing. You don't need to know all of the ins and outs of every single thing about the apartment locating world. You don't need to understand very strategic strategies about how to follow up, or what exact scripts should you say when you're talking to a client, or what things you should ask apartments whenever you call them to ask for availability. You don't really need to know any of that stuff. Yes, that stuff is very helpful, and yes, it kind of makes you a little bit more confident in this area, but do you need to know anything about any of that in order to help somebody find an apartment? You don't. Basically, what you're going to do if you are interested in getting into apartment locating is you're going to find a client, which in previous videos we've talked about. A client literally could just be somebody you pass walking down the street, or somebody you meet at a coffee shop. Finding clients should not be difficult, because literally anyone and everyone that you meet or see on your day-to-day knows somebody looking for an apartment. That's number one. Number two, once you obtain a client, you need to help them find an apartment. That's it. You just need to find out when they're needing to move, what area they're wanting to move, and if they have a certain price range. Maybe some people don't even have the answers to those three questions. Maybe they don't know the area that they want to move to. Maybe they don't know the price range that they want to move to. Maybe they don't know the size of apartment they want to move to. But ultimately, if you are a real estate agent, if you're an apartment locator, you find out somebody is needing to move and they're wanting to move into an apartment, awesome. Let's help them. And that's really it. That's literally how simple it is to be an apartment locator. You find a person looking to move. Maybe they know the answers to the three questions that I just mentioned, but if they don't, it's okay. You could just start sending them apartments in a general area. If you know they live in Dallas and they want to stay in the DFW area, if they don't know what part of town they want to move to, if they don't know what suburb they want to move to, just start sending them apartments that you think look really great online. That's it. It's not complicated. It is not something that you need to be super educated on when it comes to helping people find apartments. If you just treat a person that you know that's wanting to move as if it were you wanting to move into an apartment, if you just help them and you're basically like a concierge to help them find that apartment, that's all apartment locating is. You can worry about all of the other things later, about having a really strategic system and having a CRM and having a website. That is for later. But if you are brand new, if you're trying to get your feet wet in apartment locating, just find a client and help them find an apartment. It's literally that easy. You don't even need to have an apartment locating database. You can literally use Google. You can use the phone numbers that you see on Google of those apartment communities, and you can pick up the phone and call that property and say, hey, I have somebody wanting a 2-bedroom in Frisco. This is their price range. Do you work with apartment locators? Awesome, you do? Great. I'm going to send this client your property's info. That's it. Text that client and say, hey, I found you so-and-so apartment community. The name is blank, blank, blank in Frisco. I think you should go check it out. That's literally it. This is why it is so mind-boggling to me, why so many people get so caught up with apartment locating, or they don't even want to touch it as a whole, because they confuse themselves about what they think apartment locating is. Yes, there's a lot of intricate things that you could know or that you should know whenever you are doing apartment locating. But if you're just trying to get your feet wet, just understand that this is literally all you need to know is you're just finding a client and helping them find an apartment. So if you're somebody who is wanting to get into apartment locating, yes, we have a very, very detail-oriented apartment locating training community that we have live trainings, we have tons of training videos, we have tons of agent resources. Yes, we have all of that. But if you're watching this video and you just literally want to test out apartment locating, or you're really wanting apartment locating to work for your business, you want this to be like a whole side of your business that you are diving into, just find a client. Ask them what area they're wanting to move, what price range they're wanting to move, what price range they want to stay around, and if they have a certain size of apartment they need between like bedroom size or square footage, just ask those 3 questions. Use Google, find an apartment, tell your client to go tour, and tell them to list your name on the application as a referral source. That's it. I hope you found this video helpful. I can't tell you how many agents I see that join our apartment locating brokerage or that are in our apartment locating training community that they don't even get from point A to point B when it comes to just find a client, help them find an apartment. That's it. It's literally not easy. You don't need to worry about strategies for Facebook Marketplace. You don't need to worry about strategies for posting on social media. All of that stuff will come later. Just find a client. That's literally it. I hope you found this video helpful. Hopefully this helps you get unstuck when it comes to trying to get into the apartment locating world. If you want more support, if you want more training, yes, we are always hiring apartment locators for the state of Texas. And yes, we always are accepting new people into our private training community as well. Feel free to check out the links in our bio in the description of this post and comment below. Let me know if this was helpful for you. I am smiling and laughing because I just all the time see agents that just overcomplicate this side of the market. And I guess the only thing I can really wrap my head around is that they just don't see apartment locating represented on TV or it wasn't talked about in their real estate school. It's the only thing I can really figure out. So comment below if this was helpful or if you have any thoughts about this video, and I will see y'all in the next video.